Supersonic Whack-A-Mole, Saigon Kicks, and Nepo Vulgarians. Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by an unceasing thirst for innovation, and brought to you by No Disc, helping music technology and finance companies navigate the music industry in partnership with Digital Music News. It's January 22nd, 2026. I'm Lars Murray. It's Touring Thursday, but before we hit the road, a couple of holdovers from the last couple of days. From yesterday's Cyber Wednesday, I missed this one. Over in The Verge, Allison Johnson called out Instagram head Adam Mosseri for, quote, missing the point on AI in a recent set of posts where he stated in a nutshell that the antidote for AI slop is real human authenticity. Missing the point is the kind interpretation. Being actively disingenuous is the other less kind interpretation that you'll see in the comments. More directed anonymous commenters noted that juicing the algorithm with professional content instead of friend posts, not to mention loading feeds and reels with ads, is something Instagram has spent the last few years actively promoting. In a word, enshittification. This is sort of an important debate. Whether Mosseri is listening remains to be seen, but I tend to doubt it. Meanwhile, it gets harder and harder for people and artists to battle AI slop and build and sustain their followings on Instagram. Call it Supersonic Whack-A-Mole. Over the Christmas break, news broke that dubiously motivated internet content repository Anna's Archive had basically scraped and cloned Spotify and was making it available for developers to use the content and metadata to create their own apps and services. In fact, one of my clients asked me if they could do this. I figured they could probably get away with it for a few months, but that they'd have to go legit eventually, and it wasn't worth the trouble. Well, we're inside a month since this story broke, and the majors and Spotify have teamed up to sue, injunct, and take down. According to Dylan Smith's article in Digital Music News, the process is well underway. The music industry's whacking of moles has crossed the sound barrier and reached a velocity undreamed of back in the days of LimeWire and Kazaa. No word on whether AI has been involved in the enforcement action, but I wouldn't bet against it. Okay, let's hit the road. Just the other night, I was at a show in NYC, and I couldn't help but thinking the artists playing would be perfectly in their element at the Hotel Cafe in LA. Well, maybe not. It'll be Last Call at the Hotel Cafe a week from now, the fabled venue that spawned a generation of tasteful singer-songwriters during peak MySpace. Quiet, introspective music that was the perfect soundtrack for millennial spouse hunting is closing down at its fabled location on Cahuenga Boulevard in Hollywood. I feel a little nostalgia for Hotel Cafe. It hosted one particularly epic Roots jam I attended with Lenny Kravitz, George Clinton, Leon Bridges, Gary Clark Jr., and Corinne Bailey Rae back in 2016. All is not lost, however. Hotel Cafe will reopen at another location in 2027, but that room vibe is going to be hard to recapture. Saigon is kicking its entertainment options up a notch. Looks like you can add Ho Chi Minh City, or Saigon, as many locals call it. Uncle Ho isn't quite as popular down there as he is up in the north. You can add Saigon to your potential interesting concert destinations in the near future. It's already a pretty great place to visit. Now it's getting a world-class sports and entertainment complex. Not in time for the Bruno Mars tour, we'll get to that in a minute, but it is just the latest step in the city's continued emergence as a major tourist destination, and a timely reminder of what a useless waste of time military interventions are. And it looks like the D.C. metro area is about to be home to another massive deficit-financed ego monument venue. Nope, not the new East Wing of the White House. Nope, it's the work of that other New York Nepo Vulgarian, James Dolan. Yep, the Sphere is going to Washington, or technically Maryland. It's unclear how many Wizard of Oz rabbits Dolan can pull out of his hat, but I'm betting that every Sphere they build is going to make the OG version a little less special. Usually the cycle is that Vegas is the line extension, but in this case, instead of Vegas imitating the real world is emulating Vegas, which kind of tracks in 2026. Okay, enough bitching. A few years back, it looked like the music industry wasn't minting enough superstars to headline all the festivals that were popping up everywhere. The logic was that we weren't minting any new Metallicas or Paul McCartneys or even Beyoncés. Well, we needn't have feared. The latest megastar to launch a record-breaking tour is Bruno Mars, who hasn't actually gone on tour properly since 2019 and is embarking on a massive stadium tour that sold well over 2 million tickets in one day, and he ended up adding 34 dates dates to the tour. If that doesn't make him the hardest working man in the industry, I'm not sure what does. It's not like he wasn't big already, but holy cow, that's pretty huge. And he's only on the first single from his forthcoming album, which, by the way, went straight to the top of the charts this week. I have never met the guy, but his music certainly is danceable enough, and it's hard to argue with the work ethic of somebody who does so much. All that hard work is being rewarded. So good for Bruno. You might have noticed we don't usually talk about individual tour announcements unless they're freaking massive, like a BTS or a Taylor or a Billie Eilish or an Olivia Rodrigo, and we already just talked about Bruno Mars, so why would we be talking about A$AP Rocky? Well, because his album and tour announcement were launched by the launch specialists DropHouse, which made the A$AP Rocky album and tour announcement a major freaking event in Union Square in New York last week. Fewer and fewer album tour announcements these days seem to have ambitious meat space launches, so it's great to see somebody doing it, and it's even greater to see old friend Jennifer Citron, her talents well beyond the often thankless label world. You go Jen, you go DropHouse. Every week we discuss the artists dominating their markets, a few artists who might be punching above their weight, and a few you might be surprised still have tickets available in the U.S. music capitals, New York, L.A., and Nashville. We call it the Who Sells Out, and it's powered in part by Seated. Thousands of artists use Seated to gain fan insights and sell more tickets. In NYC, Del Water Gap is a sellout at the Brooklyn Paramount tomorrow night. On the other side of the Taste Gap and also at the Paramount, Hillary Duff is a sellout on Wednesday. Remember last week when we were talking about Mark Cuban investing in Burwood Land, the people who put on Emo Night Brooklyn? Well, maybe he was onto something. There are still a few ticks left for Emo Night Brooklyn presents Long Live Emo Fest. It's Saturday night at the Paramount with Kellen Quinn of Sleeping with Sirens, Craig Owens of Coyotes, Travie McCoy of Gym Class Heroes, Hit the Lights, and Mason Musso, the brains behind Metro Station. That's on Saturday night, which is good because that other Aussie phenom Swayze is a sellout at Warsaw the same night. Everybody got a code, or at least everybody who wants to see Louis Tomlinson of One Direction underplaying at Racket tomorrow does, and even underplay is at Rough Trade tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for all of you One Direction stragglers. In Nashville, where nothing sells out, there's no Kalen with a Y, no Kalen with an E, no Shayla, no Shayna, but Blatchford Swindlestick is a sellout at the Bridgestone Friday. Just kidding. There, however, is a Traveling Wilburys tribute at the Basement East that night featuring old friend Josh Rouse, old friend daughter Emily Nenni, Robin Hitchcock, John Oates, Bobby Bear Jr., and a cast of, well, a few more. It's tomorrow night. Tickets are still available benefiting East CAN Pet Rescue. A pretty good week at the Ryman this week with a tribute to a bluegrass legend. It's Decades in Song celebrating the eras of Peter Rowan at the Ryman featuring Sam Bush, Jerry Douglas, and Gillian Welch and David Rawlings Friday. And Mavis Staples is at the Ryman on Saturday with MJ Lenderman. Still tickets available for that. And Brooklyn isn't the only city with a serious emo night this week. Nashville has a peak aughts emo night with old friends Motion City Soundtrack and Say Anything at Marathon Music Works. It's on Monday. Still tickets available for that. In LA, after a slow start, Twice Ticks have been moving fast for the last 3 days of their 4-night stand at the Kia Forum tonight and the next 2 days. The Buzz, a psychedelic band featuring Ty Segall, still has tickets available at the Bellwether on Friday. And if you have a taste for a former Unlimited Supply Song of the Week band, Brooklyn's psych pop mob Ista is playing in the OC at the Wayfarer in Costa Mesa on Saturday. Their live show slaps, worth the trip to the OC. And that's another Touring Thursday. Support for Unlimited Supply is provided by RoyFi. If you're a label distributor or publisher and you want to take advantage of other people's money and other people's technology to provide advances, let's talk. You know where to find me. RoyFi offers the best rates and terms in the space and is mission-driven to give artists the independence they need. If you like what you hear, please hit that follow button wherever you get your pods. I live for your praise and encouragement in person, but it helps a lot more if you drop me a rating and or a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify, and tell a friend or three. Links are in the show notes, but you can also visit unlimitedsupplypod.com to sign up for our newsletter, to tell us what you think about the show, to suggest feature ideas, to feed us info, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. I'm Lars Murray, and remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest.